Good evening, everybody. It is Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV. We are here to bring you some live news updates. I was actually messing with something before we came on the air. I was trying this new kind of thing to display all the chats in one box, but it doesn't seem to be working very well. So I might have to not do it. I was trying out something which would allow all of the chats from the different platforms to display in one box. However, only one of the chats is displaying in that box. So it does not seem to work very well. I'm going to try one quick thing. Let me try one thing and see if I can fix it. I might not be able to. Let's try this. Get rid of that. Let's try this one more time and see if this works. Hang on a second. Hang on one second. We can do this. It's Agenda Free TV 2 on YouTube, so we can do this. We can take a second and try to do this. There's no real other way to do it except do it on the fly and see if it works. Okay. We got this. What is going on? What is going on? And hang on a second here. Is this going to work? Let's see. All right. Let me try one more thing. Moment of truth coming up. Is it working? And no, it is just not working. It's not working. What can I say? I did my best. Well, I'll have to deal with it later. We tried. Anyways, okay. Sorry, I was experimenting with something. It did not work. But we will continue the live stream. All right, so we're here to bring you some live news updates. And there's this one story I just saw before we came on the air that I wanted to mention to you. And let me just see if there's anything up to date about it right this second. Hang on one second here. So what the story is that this is just coming out right now. Beth Van Dyne is a congresswoman from Texas. That is Beth Van Dyne. Beth Van Dyne. Irving, Texas police says that a man committed suicide at her house. See, it says Irving, sorry, not Irvine. Irving, I'm sorry, not Irvine, Irving. Irving, Texas police posted and said, Public Information Officer Reeves will be updating the media at 7:30 p.m. about an incident today at Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne's residence where an unidentified male committed suicide at her house. The media staging area will be at 2223 Kinwest Parkway. So it's not good news. You know, I'm wondering if it might be a family member or something, if it was at the house. I don't know. So they're supposed to update in about 13 minutes, so we'll hear something about this. But it's certainly not good. And thoughts with the family of whoever is dead. But that just came out. So I don't really know. This is really all I know. And so we should hear more in a few minutes. I was looking to see if there were any updates. But, you know, it could be a family member, you know, so that's really not good. And so she is a congresswoman and from Texas, Beth Van Dyne, and personal. She and her former husband have 2 children. So, but I don't know. Maybe it's somebody she didn't know. I don't know. It says at the house. At the house. I don't know if it was in the house or outside the house. It says at the residence. At the residence. So, we'll have to see what the police say. I will let you know if there's any other reporting on it. I haven't seen any in the last couple minutes. But I just saw that. Here, look. Man takes own life in front of Texas Congresswoman's home. In front of her home. Irving police say. An unidentified man shot and killed himself in front of the home of Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne in Irving. She was home when she heard a shot and saw a person's body on her front walkway. Wow. Look at this. Look at this. Congresswoman Van Dyne spokeswoman Andrea Coker confirmed the Republican U.S. representative was home when she heard a shot and saw a person's body on her front walkway at 3:45 p.m. Wow. All right, let me post this on Twitter. So that's an update about that. Will this all fit? Sorry, I'm just posting this here. An unidentified man shot and killed herself in front of the home of Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne. The Republican U.S. representative was home when she heard a shot and saw a person's body on her front walkway around 3:45 p.m. That's what it says. Wow. So maybe she didn't know the person. Again, this is from CBS DFW. So again, just to read again what they're reporting. An unidentified man shot and killed himself in front of the home of Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne in Irving, Texas, police said tonight. Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne's spokesperson, Andrea Coker, confirmed the Republican U.S. representative was home when she heard a shot and saw a person's body on her front walkway at around 3:45 p.m. Representative Van Dyne called 911. The Irving police arrived immediately and made sure the area was secure, and she has been speaking with them since. She is shocked and saddened that someone would take their own life. We have no further comment at this time. And this was in Irving, Texas, which is, I think, near Dallas. Let me see, though. I'm not sure. Irving, Texas? Is it near Dallas? Yes, a Texas city just northwest of Dallas. That is where Irving is. I don't know why the person did this there. And there's the police, well, actually, they said 8:30. Yes, so in 8 minutes, the police are supposed to give an update. See, in 8 minutes, they're supposed to give an update. So again, I don't know who this person is, and I don't think they've given the update yet because it's not 7:30 local time. It's 7:22 local time. Well, let's see here. All right, so let me just see if I can find anything else about this, but that's the update on that story I just saw. Okay, so we'll check in a few minutes and see if there's anything else. So condolences to the person's family, whoever that person is. And real quick, I just want to say thank you to our moderators. Mark Helton is moderating. Thank you, Mark. Sarah55 is moderating. Thank you, Sarah. Maria B is moderating. Thank you. Sarah Joy is moderating. Fairy Goddess says Irving is a really nice place. Noli Wee Hill says, sounds like a political statement. I don't know if, I don't know anything about the circumstances of the person who took their own life in front of the Congresswoman's house. So we'll have to see. Dave says, does she live in a highly populated area or somewhere out of the way? I do not know. Thanks also to our Facebook and Twitch moderators. LQ Lovely, Traveling Skinny are both there. Okay, and hang on one second here. And in 6 minutes, they're supposed to give an update from Irving Police. I don't know if they're going to be showing it live. Krista Borden, thank you, Krista and Bud Green and Roxanne Betke, who are moderating in our Facebook chat. I wonder if let's see here. Sorry. I am just looking to see if there's any other updates on what happened at Beth Van Dyne's house. There's a breaking story right now. So all I can tell you is this right now, that a guy killed himself on the front walkway of Beth Van Dyne's home. Mickey says, Wikipedia mentions he has 2 children and was divorced. Could it be the father of her kids? Look, I don't know if this is somebody who knew her or not. So certainly a fair question, is it somebody who she knows or not? For example, her ex-husband. So we'll see what the thing is that right now it says unidentified man. And the police statement recently said unidentified man. If she knew the person, I don't know that the police would be still saying unidentified man. I mean, this unidentified male tweet came out 50 minutes ago, and this happened several hours ago. So, and she was home. So if she knew the person, I don't know that it would say unidentified male. I mean, it could be. Maybe they're not releasing the name yet, but, She is a congresswoman, a U.S. congresswoman from Texas. In 4 minutes, they'll be updating that story. So I want to keep an eye out and see if there's anything more on that. Montpelier says, brand new House member just elected. Yes, she just assumed office. She was the mayor of Irving, Texas, by the way. She used to be the mayor of Irving, Texas from 2011 to 2017. She assumed office as a congressional rep in January. She was just elected. In 3 minutes, they're supposed to be giving an update. Let me see something real quick. Yeah, I don't know that I'll be able to bring you. I don't even know if their announcement's going to be televised. You know what I'll do? Here's what I'll do. Hold on. Let's do this. I have an idea. This should be helpful. Okay. Did he walk there? I do not know. Sean K. says Irving is a suburb of Dallas. Yes, it is. Okay, so again, let's just stick with this for a second because the police are supposed to give an update in 2 minutes. This is not part of the story. This video is not part of the story. An unidentified man shot and killed himself in front of the home of U.S. Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne in Irving, Texas, police said. Congresswoman Van Dyne's spokesperson confirmed that she was home when she heard a shot and saw a person's body on her front walkway around 3:45 p.m. She called 911, and also she has been speaking with the police. So did she know the person? No, John's Bluebird, there's no evidence that I don't think, there's no evidence this person was shot by somebody else. The police say that the person shot themselves, so I'm guessing they have good evidence of that. All right, hang on, I'm just looking for updates on this story. I'd like to know what happened. I'm checking the Irving, Texas police Facebook page too. See, they say they'll be updating the media at 7:30. Well, that's right now. Right now is 7:30 Irving, Texas time. So that time is now. Alexander Backer says, that's messed up. Wants some coffee, says, I can't imagine the horror. Now, a whole other issue, in addition, when this happens, is you also had an armed man on her front walkway, right? So if somebody shot themselves on her front walkway, that means an armed man was on her front walkway. That's a whole other thing. So there's that. Mickey says, I hope the kids were not at home. I don't know how old her children are. They could be adults. Okay, looking for more updates on this. Still nothing new. See, this says YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Instagram. Well, they're not showing it on their Facebook because I just looked. Let me check their YouTube channel. I bet they won't be showing it there. No. They're not live on their YouTube channel. Why did he do it? We don't know. Maybe we'll learn something more from the police who are supposed to speak now. Linda Belk says, dangerous situation, it seems. Priscilla, yeah, Irving, Texas is on, I know Irving, Texas is on Central Time. I think a lot of Texas is. I don't know. I can show you a time zone map. I never remember the exact time zone. Central Time. Yeah, all of Texas is on Central Time, it looks like. Texas. Central Time Zone Boundary. Timetemperature.com. All of Texas. Maybe a little bit of the west of Texas. Maybe a little the west of Texas, it looks like, is in green. There, but most of Texas is on Central Time. Okay, nothing yet. No updates yet. Sorry, I'm just, since they're supposed to update around now, I'm just checking to see if there's any more information. Oh, by the way, I just saw this. Angela Gelhaug sent me this. The Chiefs say Britt Reid is no longer employed by the team after his contract expires. So Britt Reid is the son of head coach Andy Reid of the Kansas City Chiefs. He was also a Chiefs assistant coach. And he, a few days before the Super Bowl, got into an accident where his car hit another car, and that was pulled over to help a third car. And a 5-year-old girl is still, I believe, in critical condition from that accident. And he may get charged or may not. We're waiting to see how the police investigation goes. But he is no longer employed by the team. I hadn't seen that yet. That's from Fox 4 News. The Chiefs confirmed to Fox Britt Reid is no longer employed by the team. There's no word right now if Britt Reid is still in the hospital. He himself was in the hospital. He reportedly had surgery. The Chiefs head coach Andy Reid said that Britt Reid had had surgery and was recovering. The 5-year-old Ariel Young is still in critical condition. The GoFundMe page has been posting updates. Did they post an update about her today? Let's see. Ariel, 5 years, critically hurt in suspected DUI crash. That's the GoFundMe page. Update. Yesterday was the last update. No changes into how she's doing. She's still not awake. She has not woken up since the accident. So that's the latest I know on that. Thank you, Angela, for sending in that update. I hadn't seen that update about him. No, we have not heard about the results of the alcohol, drug testing, April Coco. Was he intoxicated? We don't know if he was legally drunk or not. He said he had had 2 or 3 drinks to police. Also said he was on Adderall. Linda says just the far west in Texas in the El Paso area is mountain time. Nicolette Key says Adderall will do it. I don't know if the Adderall played a role in this. I mean, I was reading an article that said it could take weeks for the investigation to happen, to determine what happened, the police investigation. Okay. Trillion, our viewer, thinks no way would any normal citizen, after seriously injuring a child, not be in jail right now as the police complete the rest investigation. There was a blood test done LVBZ at the hospital after the crash, but we don't know the results of that. Okay, do we have any more on this story? Hang on 1 second here. Yeah, we're trying to get you more information about this story. So again, any moment now, the Irving, Texas Police Department is supposed to release more information about this story. It doesn't have to do with the video. It's that a man killed himself today, shot himself on the front walk of the home of U.S. Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne. And she was home at the time, and she heard a gunshot, and she saw a person's body, and then she called 911, and she's been talking to the police today. So the police, as 8 minutes ago, they were supposed to give an update. We have not heard that they have given an update yet. So we're waiting to get more information about this. That article is from CBS DFW. Yes, thank you, Sarah Joy, for posting the suicide hotline. Cryptician says Britt Reid has problems and he needs to stay out of the NFL until he fixes it. Well, he may end up getting charged with crimes. He may end up going to jail. We don't know. Oops, sorry. So trying to bring you some updates on this story with Beth Van Dyne. Looking for updates from the police. Any time now. See, we're just waiting. That was 10 minutes ago, 9 minutes ago. But they do say the male committed suicide. They don't just say shot and killed. They said male committed suicide. Yeah, in terms of the Britt Reid thing, I mean, we just have to wait for the investigation by the police, you know? So, again, I read that could take weeks. Okay, just peeking around here to see if there's anything new on that. Nothing yet. Yeah, as Mark points out, Britt Reid has not been charged yet with anything. So we'll have to see if the police determine that he committed a crime. And also, even if he's not charged, I'm guessing the family will probably sue him anyway. But that's a whole other thing. Okay, if you have comments, if you have questions, give me a shout on Twitter. @Lookner on Twitter is where you can reach me. This is an article by KMBC, another outlet. Kansas City outlet. Britt Reid no longer employed by Kansas City Chiefs. Oh, Schefter reported it. Schefter reported? Adam Schefter. He was placed on leave with the Chiefs through the duration of his contract, which has since expired, and he is no longer an employee with the Chiefs. He is under investigation for impairment, as he told an officer he had 2 to 3 drinks prior to the crash and said he was on Adderall. Mira says toxicology results probably have not come back yet. I don't know how long they take. Lithrone says, hope the little girl pulls through. Agreed. Lab Golden says he was either legally drunk or not. Still nothing more about this incident at Beth Van Dyne's house. Nothing yet. The police in Irving, Texas said they were going to update the media at 7:30 p.m., which was 13 minutes ago. So we're still waiting to hear more on this situation. Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne of Texas, new Congresswoman, she was at home today, according to CBS Dallas-Fort Worth, and heard a gunshot, and a man killed himself, and she saw the body on her front walk, and she called 911. This is in Irving, Texas, near Dallas. We do not know who this person is. So any moment now, we should be hearing more about this. And that's why I keep checking it, because the police said that they were going to provide an update 15 minutes ago. If I can bring it to you live, I will. I'm not aware that they're posting it live. Asymptomatic superspreader thinks that Britt Reid had more than 2 or 3 drinks. Well, I mean, we'll have to see what the police say about this in the toxicology report. No, she's a U.S. Congresswoman. She is a U.S. Congresswoman from the state of Texas. She is a U.S. Congresswoman. She's the U.S. representative. Oh, we'll talk about the earthquake that happened today as well. This morning. There was a 7.7 this morning. Then there was some minor tsunami waves that happened. We'll talk about that too. Okay, still nothing on that. Let's go to the Pacific Tsunami Warning Center. While we're waiting for that, where is this link here? Here's that link. Here. Hey, thank you, Malta McMurchie. I appreciate that. Malta McMurchie from Canada. Very much appreciate your support. Thank you, Malta McMurchie. Okay, we want the 7.7. Where is it? Down here somewhere? 7.7. See, there was a 7.7. That was this morning in New Zealand. Only 5 people filed reports. I think it was pretty remote. See, 7.7. North of New Zealand, kind of out here. But it did cause some small tsunami waves. So Pacific Tsunami Warning Center posted about this. Let's see. Is it here? Yes. Down here, this is from Pacific Tsunami Warning Center. It says the following are tsunami wave observations from coastal and or deep ocean sea level gauges at the indicated locations. Maximum tsunami height. So you can see there was there was a 1.6 foot one, Kingston, Norfolk Island. I don't even know where that is. Kingston, Norfolk Island had a 1.6 foot tsunami wave. Where is that at? Where is it? Norfolk Island is a main island in a group. It's an external territory of Australia. See, here's Australia. Norfolk Island is out here. Out here. So there was a 1.6 foot tsunami wave at Norfolk Island. That's the biggest. Oh no, and at is this Vanuatu? Lenakel, Vanuatu. 2.6 feet tsunami wave. 2.6 feet. That's in Lenakel. Lenakel is the largest town on the island of Tanna in Vanuatu. That is over here. Way over here. So they had a 2.6 feet tsunami wave. A 7.7 earthquake, generally, in my memory, when you hear about the really deadly tsunamis, the earthquake is higher than 7.7. Unless it's something where it's like some earthquake where a bunch of land falls into the sea, like a volcano earthquake or something, and you have like a tsunami, like a large wave right near there. But the tsunamis that spread out widely, 7.7 I think is on the lower end of what you need for one of the really destructive ones. Yeah, I mean, Lithuanian says 2.6 foot tsunami wave could be significant. Yeah, can be dangerous, but if you look up, let's look this up. Major tsunamis. List of tsunamis. So if we just look at some of these. Let's see. I mean, the Japan earthquake was a 9.0 earthquake, the crazy one in Japan. And how about what was the one? Indian Ocean earthquake and tsunami. The initial surge was measured at a height of approximately 108 feet. That was a 9.1 to 9.3 earthquake. Those tsunamis killed 227,000 people. This is a 7.7 magnitude earthquake, which created tsunamis with heights that varied from 2 meters at Silacap to 6 meters at Simirak Beach. So that's from a 7.7. Okay. A 7.7 earthquake in 2010 triggered a localized tsunami that killed at least 408 people. Depending on where it happens and what happens, you can have local ones that, you don't have huge ones spreading out everywhere, but you can have local big ones. That can happen too. We covered a volcano tsunami at some point a few years ago, where it was was it Indonesia, where a big chunk of a volcano, I think, fell into the ocean, and it caused a local damaging tsunami. I can't remember though. Hang on, I'll take some comments about this, but let me just check if there's any update on Beth Van Dyne. Update. Jobin Paniker. Irving PD gives update on suicide that happened in front of Beth Van Dyne's home. Congresswoman was home at the time and only heard shooting. FBI and Irving PD looking into motive. Identity of victim is pending. So it sounds like they don't know who the person is. This was today in front of the home of U.S. Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne of Texas. Let's see if there's anything else update on that. Then we'll talk more about the tsunami situation. Yeah, they didn't post it on their social media yet. Identity is pending. Sounds like either they don't know who it is or they haven't contacted the family yet. It's weird. I feel, wants some coffee, says notifying next of kin. I feel like if it was like a relative of hers, they might identify it, but who knows? Just Dude says, why was this person even allowed so close to their home? Well, we've heard about this kind of situation with other Congress people before, where people get close to their homes. I don't know what the security situation is like there. That's like the only report I've seen on this. All right, if you have comments, questions, at Lookner on Twitter. I don't know if the person was trespassing. I have no idea. I was trying to remember before the volcano tsunami that we covered. When was that? Yeah, this is a deadly volcano triggered a tsunami wave taller than the Statue of Liberty. This is from Forbes. Eric Mack. When the Iraq Krakatoa volcano erupted and partially collapsed into the ocean on December 22, 2018, it created a massive wave big enough to swamp the Statue of Liberty and perhaps even overtop the London Eye. Look at this. This professor says when that happened, that earthquake, the height, when volcanic materials fall into the sea, they cause displacement of the water surface. In the case of that earthquake and that volcano, the height of the water displacement caused by the volcano materials was over 100 meters. 100 meters! That's over 300 feet. The analysis performed by researchers showed the wave started as high as 450 meters, 500 feet. The huge wave would have been still 80 meters tall, 250 feet or so, when it hit a small island just a few kilometers away from the volcano. Fortunately, nobody was living on that island. So that's not a tsunami wave that carried, across the world, but in a local area it was huge. That's one example. But sometimes you have, you know, an earthquake which triggers something like this, which is a big localized tsunami. And sometimes you have, you know, tsunami waves that spread out, you know, across, you know, maybe thousands of miles. Here, look at this. Here's something about earthquake size and tsunamis. International Tsunami Information Center. Usually it takes an earthquake with a Richter magnitude exceeding 7.5 to produce a destructive tsunami. Okay, they say once you get above 7.5. Today's was a 7.7. All right, so maybe 7.7. I think I was underestimating the damaging potential of a tsunami from a 7.7 earthquake. Ben Bruner sent me this. Plane preparing for takeoff, slides off runway at Pittsburgh International Airport. From Bill Reckhoff. Keep It Flat says, I would like to see this waves. Okay, let's talk about some other stories. You know, I didn't see... Tony sent me something about Bruce Springsteen. I meant to look this up. I heard that Bruce Springsteen got like a DUI or something, but I hadn't looked that up today, so I know nothing about it. I know nothing about it. Bruce Springsteen busted for DWI. I hadn't heard this. TMZ. He is in the middle of a DWI case after he was busted in New Jersey. He was arrested on November 14th in Sandy Hook, New Jersey. He was cited for DWI, reckless driving, and consuming alcohol in a closed area. He has a court appearance. I hadn't heard about this. Montpelier says, I read that also. It's weird. It's, I guess, you know, some celebrities, if they got busted for a DWI, would be a huge deal. I mean, I think it's important. I think, you know, you can driving under the influence could kill people. But, like, is it going to really be a big effect on his reputation? I don't think so. And Jen Jalopnik says, Jeep pulls Bruce Springsteen ad from YouTube after DWI news. Bruce Springsteen. It's also interesting that he got arrested on November 14th, and this didn't come out till today. He was arrested 3 months ago for DWI. Bruce Springsteen was arrested 3 months ago, and it didn't come out till today. That's amazing. 3 months ago. Jeep ran a long and presumably very expensive ad featuring the boss during the Super Bowl on Sunday. The ad is apparently in the midst of being pulled. The ad is nowhere to be seen on Jeep's YouTube account, nor is it on Jeep's Instagram. This is interesting. Springsteen was charged with a DWI back in November. But he didn't shoot the Jeep ad until later. In the last few weeks, according to Ad Age, is when he shot the ad, which begs the question, Springsteen and or his people didn't give Jeep a heads up about the DWI in the time in between? That's interesting. I wonder if, that's from Eric Schilling of Jalopnik, I wonder if Jeep could sue Bruce Springsteen and say, you didn't tell us about this DWI that you had, which was going to come out at some point. And so we wasted this money on this ad because we can't show it anymore. So we're suing you. I would think they could sue. Well, I mean, they can sue. The question is, would they have a chance at winning? Hey, thank you, Tony Del Monte. Tony said, is now 32 dead in the India glacier avalanche, 170 still missing. Yeah, we'll talk about that in a little bit. That was a story from a few days ago. Terrible. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. Thank you, Tony. McColiseum says, sounds like smart marketing. Linda says, I wouldn't blame them for suing. I haven't even watched the ad. I didn't even watch the ads from the Super Bowl. Letter artist says, I would say it depends on what's in the contract. I don't know. Certainly, there's these legal issues here, which I don't understand. I don't know if it would need to specifically say that in the contract. I don't know. It's a good question. Gone with the Gale says, just shows there's a double standard where certain favorites are allowed to get away with anything. The other thing is, like, you know, he didn't have an accident. If he did, it could be a much bigger story. So that's true. Crazy Otto says he hasn't been convicted yet. That's true. I'm guessing they have pretty good evidence, though. But yes, fair enough, he has not been convicted yet. Yeah, that's not good. Look at this. Mayor of Los Angeles says Dodger Stadium and other COVID vaccination sites will be closed Friday and Saturday due to lack of doses, in hopes to reopen by Tuesday or Wednesday. There's all these like sites ready to open around the country. It's just there's not enough doses. I did see something very interesting today about Massachusetts. Massachusetts just announced today that if you're an older person and you go to get the vaccine, you can bring one person with you because they're trying to get older people to go. Look at this. Massachusetts to allow those accompanying 75 and older residents to receive vaccine. In an effort to make the vaccine more accessible to residents 75 and older, Massachusetts plans to begin this week allowing anyone who accompanies, any one person who accompanies an eligible senior to one of the state's mass vaccination sites to receive a shot themselves. Effective Thursday at mass vaccination sites, anyone accompanying a person aged 75 or older to get the vaccine, one person, can schedule their own appointment to be vaccinated on the same day. How about that? It's the new accommodation for trusted family, friends, neighbors, or caregivers. While all the mass vaccination sites are handicap accessible, sites like Gillette Stadium or Fenway Park can be unfamiliar and intimidating to some, and allowing trusted companions to also get vaccinated is an effort to encourage more seniors to seek the inoculation. Only one caregiver may accompany each resident. Very interesting. So, like, it doesn't matter how old you are. Like, if you're A person who's 75 and older who goes to a mass vaccination site, they can bring any one person with them. Kay Gebhardt says, I hope people don't just grab a senior to have access to vax. Well, look, I mean, there's nothing stopping somebody, if you're a senior, from somebody paying you to go with them. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. I wouldn't be surprised at mass vaccination sites to see people waiting outside for an older person going in. They could even say, I'll give you $100 if you let me go in with you. But then you have to go with them for your second shot, because it's not a one-shot vaccine, it's a two-shot vaccine. So you have to get your second shot still. Ruby Roo says, smart, help make sure caregivers are vaccinated too. That certainly is a good thing, if you have somebody's caregiver. But it doesn't have to be the caregiver. April Coco says, a savvy senior can raffle it off. I wonder if you'll see this in other states. This is the first state I've heard about this. Jeff says, I need to find a 75-year-old in Massachusetts. Mira says, I think it's a great idea. Anything to help the very old to get vaccinated is fine with me. I mean, this tells me that they're not getting as many seniors to go as they want to. Clint Templeton says, start trolling senior dating sites. Cam says, great way to make extra cash for a senior. Beth says, that's how I got the shot in Arizona. I went with my mom. She's over 75 and she lives in the same house with us. And they gave me a shot too. Game Granny says that works out nicely in a multi-generational household. Yes, they can bring one person with them to get vaccinated. That's just in Massachusetts. So I thought that was interesting. Wheelie says, my brother and sister got a vaccine a week before my mother, who's in a nursing home, because the nursing home listed them as her caregiver. Das Direwolf says, in California, those who work helping the disabled or seniors must bring a pay stub. Twilla says, I'm a caregiver. I got my vaccination, 2 of them. Very nice. Amber says, I think that was brilliant. Seniors aren't always mobile. Yeah, I mean, it certainly is. Yeah, certainly, a lot of seniors can't drive. So it is a way to maybe encourage people to, the senior can, I think I saw the governor make a comment about that today, say something like, some Massachusetts official said something today like, it might encourage somebody to help the senior get there if they can get the vaccine too. Look, seniors' trusted companions now also can be vaccinated at some sites. WBUR. I'm waiting to get it myself. As soon as I can get it, I'm going to get it. I'm waiting. Jeff Curry says, I'm having all kinds of problems with the VA getting my vaccine. Lou Sykes says, the goal is to get everyone vaccinated. Definitely a positive move. Stephen Murray says, I have 75-year-old in my family that got it, and she's fine. She just has a sore arm from it. Ruby Roos says, my hubby is getting the second shot tomorrow. Getting more and more people in our chat saying they got it, which is good. Nicole says, I'm vaccinating for my county, very well organized. Let's see here. I wanted to check on this story too. Update about this. Let's see if I can find it. Been following this. Police name person of interest in Yale grad student homicide investigation. Kevin Jang, a Yale grad student, was shot and killed on February 6th. That is it. Dave Puglisi says, New Haven police announce Keen Juan Pan as the person of interest. He is a graduate of MIT, born in 1991. Police would not say what kind of connection he may have to Jang. Pan is wanted for a stolen vehicle from Massachusetts. He is believed to have left the state. New Haven police confirms North Haven PD came in contact with him at one point during the investigation. Yeah, they don't know who killed this person. Well, they think maybe he did, I guess. The 26-year-old Jang was shot and killed on February 6th in the Goatville neighborhood in New Haven, where many Yale students and employees live. He was enrolled at the Yale School of Environment. Now this guy who graduated from MIT is a person of interest. Madison G says, sad story. Wonder if there's some more about it in the Yale Daily News. That's the local paper at Yale. Yale Daily News. They should have an article about this. Here, police name person of interest in investigation. They refrained from calling him a suspect, saying he's a person of interest who should be considered armed and dangerous. Also, again, he had stolen a vehicle from Massachusetts. Man. He became a person of interest after an interaction with the North Haven Police Department following Jang's shooting. Oh, is this North Haven or New Haven? I'm sorry. I was thinking New Haven. But no, New Haven Police said this. But this is North Haven. Pan became a person of interest after an interaction with the North Haven Police Department following Zhang's shooting. North Haven police were called to the Best Western Hotel in North Haven after a man was seen acting oddly in the vicinity of the suspicious vehicle. They questioned Pan but ultimately left him at the hotel. Now they're looking for him again. There are 2 warrants out for his arrest. The FBI is looking into this as well. Originally from Shanghai, Pan was born in 1991 and studied computer science at MIT, graduating in 2013. He is currently a researcher with MIT's Computer Science and AI Laboratory. Smart guy. Wow, what happened here? Madison G. said they said the victim was possibly involved in some kind of car accident and were wondering if that had something to do with it. So the person of interest is somebody who is an MIT graduate who works as a researcher at MIT. What's his relationship to the guy who was killed? I have no idea. What an odd story. New York Post says Yale graduate student shot dead may have been targeted. Do they know each other? Kevin Zhang, the Yale grad student, was shot multiple times late Saturday. Investigators now believe Zhang's slaying wasn't an act of random violence, but stopped short of speculating on a motive. We have developed information that the incident may not have been a random act, that he was in effect targeted. This was not a drive-by. This was much more up close. The police said they had very specific leads in the case, but declined to elaborate. Zhang's body was found near his Toyota Prius, which had rear-end damage, which prompted police to look into whether a car crash led to his slaying. I mean, you also wonder, did the person chase him down in their car? Like, was the person who killed him following him in the car and trying to hit him with the car? I don't know. We're also exploring whether or not this was a road rage incident. Maybe it was a road rage incident. Christina says, rest in peace. I agree with you. Certainly condolences to his family, the person who died. Thank you, Christina. Do Zavada says, maybe jealousy like job work. Nate Skate thinks we are more to the story than what we are hearing in the news. This MIT grad sought in fatal shooting of Yale student. Wall Street Journal. I have to keep an eye on this story. Also, why did he steal a car? Why police have an arrest warrant already that he stole a car? Why did this MIT guy steal a car? Ooh. Police are also exploring the possibility that Mr. Pan may have known Mr. Zhang's fiancée, who graduated from MIT in 2020. Look at this. Police are exploring the possibility that Mr. Pan, the person of interest, may have known Mr. Zhang's fiancée, who graduated from MIT. I wonder, did Mr. Pan date or want to date Mr. Zhang's fiancée? What about that? Mr. Pan is an MIT grad student. He has 2 undergrad degrees from MIT. Lauren is Quacks thinks he stole a car because he didn't have one. Joyce says because he didn't have a car and needed to drive down there. I wonder if it's a love triangle thing. I have no idea. Makes you wonder, though. Jeff Haas says that could be it. Thank you, by the way, to Jeff Curry and Christina. Thank you, Jeff Curry and Christina. I appreciate that. Thank you. I wonder what police department was this that had this New Haven Police. I wonder if they posted it on Facebook. They didn't post there, or did they? How long is this? Is this the video? Should we play a little of this video? I haven't even watched this yet. Let's play a little of this video. This is the New Haven Police Department. This is their. Want to play a little of this and see what they say about this? Let's just. We don't have to play the whole thing. We'll just see. We'll see what he says. Lauren says, how can you be so smart and yet steal a car and shoot someone? Let's see what they say. Hang on one second here. Let me just do it this way. I got to do it this way. Doreen Weir says, love triangle. Let's see if this works.
Here to give you an update on the homicide that occurred on the 6th of February in the area of Lawrence, near Nash Street, the victim of which is Mr. Kevin Jiang. Before I start, I want to take a moment to just acknowledge the people here that are standing with me. The FBI in New Haven. Al Vasquez, also in the presence of Chief Carl Jacobson, Head of Investigations, 21-4538. Mr. King Swan Pan, date of birth 21-4538. The New Haven Police Department's homicide unit is looking for Mr. King Swan Pan, date of birth of 4/16/1991. His name is spelled Qinxuan, last name Pan. Again, date of birth 4/16/1991. Mr. Pong was last seen at the Best Western Hotel at 201 Washington Avenue in North Haven. His last known address is 193 Clifton Street in Malden, Massachusetts. We know that Mr. Pong is a graduate of MIT and has an affiliation with that university. I am asking that the public knows that Mr. Pong should be considered armed and dangerous, and that extreme caution should be used if you come in contact with this individual. If located, we ask that you contact homicide detectives here at the New Haven Police Department at 203-946-6304 or the anonymous tip line, which is 1-866-888-8477 or tips. You can also email ecic@newhavenct.gov with any information, and again, you may remain anonymous. Mr. Pan is wanted for questioning at this time. We have a warrant for his arrest for a stolen vehicle out of North Haven. Correction, for a stolen vehicle that he possessed in North Haven. The North Haven Police Department came in contact with Mr. Pan soon after our homicide. He is currently a person of interest in our investigation, but I want to make sure you know that he is currently not wanted on that homicide. Again, he should be considered armed and dangerous, and we ask the public to continue their efforts to help us in identifying any further witnesses. Any more information that you have is critical to this investigation. We just want to make sure that the public knows that he has been identified. I want to also take a moment to thank the community for their cooperation throughout this investigation. Since Saturday, we've lead, and we're very grateful. I also want to thank the community for, particularly our community at Yale University. And we want you to know that we stand with you as I'm going to stop there and take any questions you may have, and I'll just let you know that it is a very active investigation. As you can see, there are many agencies involved, and some agencies that are not represented here. But it is critical that we, for the integrity of the investigation, limit the information we can provide.
Chief, this is Tony Terzi. We're live here on Fox 61 News. Just checking in with you on the MIT connection. The fiance of Kevin Jeong is an MIT graduate. This gentleman is connected to MIT. Do they know each other?
Well, what I can tell you at this time, Tony, is that we are exploring every angle related to this investigation and related to every person involved, the victim, his fiance, his extended family, and to include the suspect or the person of interest that we've identified here before you. And so at this point, we're not prepared to tell you what our information is regarding their involvement or whether or not there is a connection between that and this investigation. What we can tell you is that we are exploring that.
Is Mr. Pond a suspect or not at this time a suspect?
He is not a suspect at this time. He is a person of interest.
Can you go over the connection in North Haven and how you said the North Haven police interacted with him? Can you talk anything you can give about that?
Well, what I can tell you is that the North Haven Police Department came in contact with Mr. Pond sometime after the homicide. And it was the fruits of that investigation that put him on our radar. And we are exploring the information that was yielded from that encounter. We have also done some follow-up investigation as a result of that. And so what I can tell you now is that we are following up many leads related to that encounter.
Is he still suspected to be in Connecticut?
We are expecting that, we do not expect that he is in Connecticut. We believe that he is outside of the state. However, what I will say is that it is possible, anything's possible at this point. We are not ruling out that he's still in Connecticut. However, we are exploring leads that he's somewhere else nationwide.
Is there any indication that this was some love interest, some ex-love interest that might have been kind of sparked post their engagement, that it's an ex-boyfriend perhaps upset with what unfolded?
Yeah, anytime you have a homicide investigation, you have to rule out any of those factors, especially when someone is shot multiple times like they were in this particular incident. And so what I can tell you is that we're exploring absolutely every angle, and whether or not that is a factor in this particular investigation is something that we can't disclose at this time, but we're certainly not ruling out.
Chief, can you talk at all about the damage that was done to Mr. Jeong's car? Is it something that was intentional by this person of interest, perhaps?
Yeah, Tony, and what I can tell you is I can't speak to the intent. I can't speak to motive. What I can tell you is that there was an accident, and we are exploring whether or not that was material in terms of the motive for which he shot him. Again, it's too early to talk about that, and I can't share that, but what we can say is that we're exploring absolutely every angle, including the fact that there was an accident preceded the encounter.
What's the difference between...
So it's an interesting story. So that's the guy they're looking for. But, one of the news articles we read said that he did know the fiance of the guy that was killed. Also, the police officer there said something very interesting. He said, especially when somebody shot multiple times, we explore love interest stuff. So I guess the fact that somebody is shot multiple times is a signal that maybe it's somebody who's really angry at the other person or something. He did say that in the press conference. That was interesting. But this says, what does it say here? I don't know. Does it say anything about the fiance here? One of the articles said, maybe it just said they were looking into the question. I don't know if there's any reporting that they actually knew each other. I can't remember the article we just read. But that's the guy. Madison G says, I doubt this guy will be found alive. The car, he stole a car from Massachusetts. That's what he's wanted for. So basically, are you guys were saying you didn't think maybe he didn't have a car. So is the idea that maybe he stole the car from Massachusetts and drove that car? Because North Haven is in Connecticut, right? The stolen car was in North Haven, Connecticut. North Haven. And that's near New Haven. So it sounds like maybe he stole the car in Massachusetts, where he works and lives, and he drove it to Connecticut. And then he killed the guy after their cars collided. Jeez. Big Boss 6 says the words you're looking for are crime of passion. Joyce Ya thinks he knows he will get caught and his life is over. I think suicide, sadly. Another thing is the police said they didn't think he's in Connecticut. I wonder if they have footage of him. I wonder if they have like footage of him driving away, or like highway footage, or if they have like evidence that he like got on a bus or something. Want Some Coffee thinks he hit the car on purpose. Linda Belk says, so he even crossed state lines, making it federal. See, I didn't even know those details about the story. It's so crazy. You can give me a shout at Lookner on Twitter. Neptune says, he's armed and dangerous, but not a suspect, just a person of interest. Sounds pretty sus. The victim was found near his car. Near his own car. Okay. Joyce says the fiancé must be flipped out. Well, yeah, certainly condolences her. I mean, her fiancé is now dead. I'm sure the police are talking to her as well. Okay. I'll keep an eye on that story. I'm going to keep an eye on that story. Who knows? If there's big developments, maybe we'll do a stream on it. By the way, here's a little update on I don't know if it's anything new on Beth Van Dyne, suicide outside her house. She is a U.S. Congresswoman from Texas. Irving police, FBI investigating after a man kills himself outside Representative Beth Van Dyne's home. She was home at the time. Beth Van Dyne was home at the time of the incident and only heard the shooting, Irving police said. They are looking into motive. The identity of the man has not been released. So we don't know if they know who the guy is. Maybe they do, and they just haven't released it yet. Van Dyne was the mayor of Irving from 2011 to 2017. Devotee says the murder story deserves a stream. Well, we might cover it depending on what the news update is on it. I will keep an eye out on it, though. By the way, thanks to our moderators, Ruby Roo is helping us mod in this channel as well. Thank you, Ruby Roo. And also Mark Helton, Sarah Joy. Thank you for moderating. Lizzie FTW, Linda Belk, Sarah 55. Also our Facebook and Twitch mods, Roxanne Betke, Krista Borden, Bud Green, and our Twitch moderators too. LLQ Lovely and Tariag, thank you. Tony Del Monte had mentioned this story before about the India avalanche. Details emerge of terrifying moments before avalanche struck as search for survivors continues. India. Deadly mixture of ice, rock, and water approached at a furious pace from miles away, consuming nearly everything in its path. Nearly 200 people are still missing after part of a glacier collapsed on Sunday in the northern Indian state of Uttarakhand, causing a massive avalanche that tore through a mountain gorge and crashed through a dam. So far, 32 bodies have been found. It's not exactly clear what caused the piece of glacier to fall off, triggering the avalanche. The Home Minister told Parliament a landslide triggered a snow avalanche that spread across 14 square kilometers, causing flash floods. This is from CNN, by the way. A scientist said a huge rock slide near the glacier may be to blame for triggering the avalanche. The scale of the ensuing flash flood was unprecedented. This professor said an analysis suggested a landslide that took out part of a hanging glacier. Authorities described it as a freak event. Not good. Me So Hungry says, my niece and nephew say hi. Hello, Me So Hungry's niece and nephew. Oh, Lisa Cushman is moderating too. Thank you, Lisa Cushman, for moderating in Periscope. Okay, let's see here. Castro says an absolute tragedy. You can give me a shout at Lookner on Twitter with your comments. At Lookner on Twitter. There were some other things I wanted to mention. The South African variant is now in California, by the way. California's first cases of South African COVID variant confirmed. This is from KTLA. California has identified the state's first 2 cases of the South African variant. Hey, thanks, by the way, to Kay Gebhardt. Kay Gebhardt, I think it's the perfect timing for your comment. Any updates about the COVID variants? Feel like it might be calm before the storm. Well, the expert opinion that I've seen is that the UK variant is supposed to be doubling every 9 or 10 days, and it's supposed to be by March the UK variant is supposed to be the dominant variant in the country. So you can find expert after expert who says that that things are going to be a lot worse in March. Michael Osterholm, who used to be on the Biden team, who's been he's been doing interviews about this for a year, and he's an expert on the topic, and he said he thinks it's going to be worse than ever in March. He's been saying this for weeks now. He says if you look at what happened with the UK and the UK variant in the UK, he says it just spread so much faster, and he thinks it's going to be worse than ever here. And it's just, if it doubles every X number of days, it can start out small, and you don't really notice it the first two doubles, but small numbers, if you start doubling them, eventually they start going up by a lot. So we'll see. But then this is the first South African variant cases in the Bay Area, said the governor today. They were found in Alameda and Santa Clara counties. Scientists and health officials fear the variants could be more contagious, less responsive to treatments, and more likely to reinfect people who already had the virus. So we'll have to see in the U.S. do people start getting reinfected with the South African variant. In the U.S. you have numbers coming down in a lot of places, but many experts say they think what's happening is underneath it all, you're getting more and more cases of the UK variant, and that's going to explode in a few weeks. Fish says, I live in the UK and I can assure you it's not as bad as the media is making out. It's certainly real, but I have a large family and many friends. I don't know anyone who's had it. Well, there's just facts about what's going on. I mean, the facts are that they've been having a higher death rate than the US. The UK has about a fifth of the population of the US, and they've had 1,000 or more deaths on many days, which would be like the US having 5,000 or 6,000 deaths. They've had over 100,000 deaths in the UK, right? And the population is 66 million. So that's like the US having over 500,000 deaths. They've had more deaths per capita than the UK and than the US. And also, clearly there's all kinds of reporting about how taxed the hospitals were over the last couple of months. So, just because you don't know anyone with it, just because you don't, on the one hand, we have you saying, I don't know anyone with it. And on the other hand, we have facts about how many people have died and facts about how crowded the hospitals have been. And lots of reporting for months about bad situations with hospitals, overcrowding, ambulances having to wait for hours and hours and hours to let people off. So I'm sorry if I'm not swayed by one person saying, well, I don't know anyone who has it. I'm glad you don't know anyone who has it, but that doesn't really at all convince me. It doesn't offset the mountain of evidence about how bad it's been the last few months there. I remember the genius who way back in, I think it was probably either March of April or last year, the genius guy who was in the elevator in my building last year in Atlanta, who said it's just the flu, and then he said, I work in a hospital, no one's in the hospital. This genius. That's what he said to me. He said, it's just the flu, I work in a hospital, there's no one in the hospital. That was last April. That's what this guy said to me. It's just the flu. That was last April. The genius who worked in the hospital in my building, who wasn't wearing a mask. Okay. Let's see here. You've probably seen it, by the way. There was new footage that came out today of Mitt Romney running away during the riot in the Capitol riot. Jan Wolfe posted this, but this was displayed during the impeachment hearing, the impeachment trial. But that's Officer Goodman, the officer who is famous from the video where he gets a crowd of people, steers them away from where Congress is. So you can see Officer Goodman runs up and tells Mitt Romney to go the other way, and Mitt Romney runs away. Starts running right there. That's Jan Wolfe posted that, but you can find that a lot of places. Montpelier says that officer helped him. Roy Aberdeen says ran for life, and so they should. Madison G., he has been impeached, the president, but it doesn't look like he's going to be convicted by the Senate. All right, let's see. What else did I want to mention today? Oh, I saw this. So we covered this yesterday. That terrible shooting at the health clinic in Minnesota. But you can see here, the Associated Press, a man who opened fire at a Minnesota health clinic, killing one staff member and wounding 4 others, previously threatened to carry out a mass shooting at the facility, police say. Gregory Paul Ulrich has a history of conflict with medical clinics. Documents show several red flags for clinic shooting suspect. The suspect in the shooting at the Minnesota Medical Clinic was able to enter the building despite threatening violence there 2 years earlier, posting a sign near his home about a doctor he disliked and frightening a nurse of a nearby hospital so much that a colleague hit a panic button for help. Despite these red flags, he entered in a healthcare center and opened fire. One security expert says it's not clear whether police could have done more to prevent Tuesday's attack. There are 4, let's see here. There's the person who died, Lindsay Overbay, a nurse. One of the injured is a nurse, Sherry Curtis, no condition given. 3 others were 3 people remained hospitalized Wednesday afternoon, 1 in critical condition, 1 in fair condition, the other in good condition. Court documents and interviews with people who know Ulrich paint a picture of a man who appeared volatile and had a problem with abusing painkillers and was confrontational with medical care workers who treated him in Buffalo, a community of about 15,000 people. According to a police report, Ulrich threatened to carry out a mass shooting at that clinic on October 2018. And a doctor told investigators that Ulrich had talked about shooting, blowing things up, and practicing different scenarios of how to get revenge. The doctor said Ulrich told him he dreamed about getting revenge on the people who tortured him, referring to issues he had with back surgeries and medication he was prescribed. Ulrich told police he had been talking about his dreams and that he wouldn't actually do anything, and police took him for a mental health evaluation. But Alina medical staff believed Ulrich might act on the threats and took legal action to bar him from the company's property. A restraining order prohibited Ulrich from having contact with the doctor or going into the clinic in the nearby Alina-run Buffalo Hospital. Okay, blah, 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 blah. The restraining order was due to expire December 13th. Let's see here. So this was the same facility, right? I believe the threat he made was to the same facility in 2018. Let me just see something here. Hold on a second. Go to the Star Tribune. Let's see here. Let's see if I can find. I want to find just another local story about him to confirm that information. Yeah, Ulrich threatened revenge in 2018. KARE. A clinic doctor told police in 2018 the suspect had called him and talked about shooting, blowing things up. The suspect in the mass shooting, 2 years ago, his doctor warned police the patient made mass shooting threats against the hospital. The doctor called 911, saying his patient called his home several times to confront him about medical care he provided him 2 years earlier. It doesn't specifically say was he threatening that specific clinic or Alina in general. I'm not clear from this. But anyways. Want Some Coffee says, I hate that woman had to die. Daniel Boberson says, I believe he had back issues, had surgery, painkillers after, and got hooked. Joyce says, anyone can become dependent on opioids if they take them long enough. Just Dude says, why are the police not locking up people they think are a threat? Well, there's limitations to what police can do. So I'm guessing, I don't know the specifics of all the case about what he threatened and the court ruling and everything. There was an order that he was not allowed on a line of property. Thank you, Sonic, for your support. I appreciate it, Sonic. Thank you, Sonic. Seize the Day, who works in the medical field, says this stuff threats happens in medical places more than you think. Hell and Nap says we had something similar happen in Chicago maybe 10 years ago. Helen Knapp says, could have put ankle monitor on him? Daniel says it was that clinic the threat was addressed to. John O'Brien says, sad, so horrible. So many people with mental health issues and access to weapons. Yeah, the story, whatever, in El Paso, there was that whole story in Austin, one of our viewers mentioned. I don't know if there was ever an update to that, April Coco, about the doctor who was killed in the murder-suicide in Austin. I don't know if there was ever an update to that. I should check and see. Certainly condolences to the doctor or the nurse who was killed yesterday in Minnesota. Here, look, this is an article from Austin American Statement, and this is from a number of days. This is from like last week. This is from 2 weeks ago. Questions linger about why terminally ill doctor killed Austin doctor in hostage standoff. The exact motives are still unknown. Interviews with colleagues and witnesses indicate a terminal illness and a desire to be closer to family members brought him to Austin. This doctor just had a terminal illness and then went into a doctor's office and then took hostages and then killed another doctor and then killed himself. Obstetrician Dr. H. Joseph Kahn was a colleague of Narumanchi's. That's the person who murdered the person. Narumanchi's. Narumanchi told Kahn he sought treatment for cancer at UCLA, but Kahn said he was unaware of any history of psychological problems or signs he was taking medication. Upon learning about the hostage standoff and the killing, Kahn said he was shocked. He does not look like a serial killer. I read on the internet he had a gun. I think he's not that type, Kahn said. Kahn said he was unaware of any connection Narumanchi might have had with the doctor who was killed. He said, I don't think he would hurt anybody. I'd feel safe talking to him. That's the guy who did it right there, Dr. Bharat Narumanchi. He shot the other doctor, then shot himself. So I haven't seen the updates about like more on motive and stuff, you know? That was in Austin. And I did a search, like a Google search, and I couldn't find any more updates on that story. There's like nothing about it since like January 28th. Jeff Haas says the cancer diagnosis probably pushed him over the edge. Well, CRT, I don't think the hostages knew the guy. So, you know, I'm guessing we have more information about what happened in there, but not why he did it in the first place. In case you missed it, by the way, earlier in the stream we were talking about this. I haven't seen more information on this yet. That Congresswoman Beth Van Dyne, an unidentified man, shot and killed himself at her outside her house on the front walkway today, and she was there, but we don't know who the guy is, and she called 911. So I'll let you know if we hear anything more about that. Noli Hill says, wow. Yeah, this was bad. But we don't know if she knew him or not. Oh, I also wanted to talk about this too. The famous Krispy Kreme donuts owned by Shaq in Atlanta burned down. This was last night. Krispy Kreme restaurant on Ponce de Leon Avenue. That's in Atlanta. I didn't even know that Shaq owned this. But this was a popular spot. Let me try to get you some more information on this. You would think it'd be like on the front page of the Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Seems like they should have it on their front page. It's not. Let's see. Fire tears through historic Krispy Kreme on Ponce. "11 alive. Significant damage to an iconic Atlanta structure." I used to drive by there when I was in Atlanta. 2 employees were inside the building when the fire broke out and escaped. I wonder if the employees started the fire. I wonder if something went wrong. A fast-moving fire gutted the building this morning before 1 a.m. So there were 2 employees there before 1 a.m. Now, I don't know if they're open at that hour. Krispy Kreme, Ponce de Leon. Hours. What are their hours there? Should say. Yeah, drive-through. I didn't know this. Sunday to Tuesday, drive-throughs 24 hours. Wednesday, Thursday closed. Huh. I didn't know that. So maybe the employees were there like working the drive-through. I had no idea that there was a 24-hour drive-through at that Krispy Kreme. So they might have just been there working at the drive-through or whatever. But I don't know. I don't know what caused the fire. The fire started in the back right of the building. The historic location opened more than 60 years ago. One of the first Krispy Kremes established outside the young company's main base of operation. Shaquille O'Neal bought the store in 2016. Around the city, Atlantans mourn the damage done to a site where many locals have fond memories. Beth Amby says, I used to get donuts there when I went to Georgia State. I wonder if they reopen it, how long that'll take. Guessing a while. Noli Hill says, I'd like a Krispy Kreme donut now. That's like on a very main road in Atlanta. I wonder also, you know, it's a food place. Like, did they not have sprinklers installed there? The fire engulfed the back part of the building. Did they not have sprinklers installed throughout the building? I have no idea. Gerald Jones says, I live near Atlanta, over 60 years old building. John O'Brien says that was a landmark. Actually, we can show you pictures of it. You go to Google. Photos. It's like it's a famous sign there. Mark Helton says it's been fire code for 30 years. So I don't know why such a big fire happened there. Sweet memories, all that's left after fire destroys iconic Krispy Kreme in Midtown. After a night out in the middle of a cram session or before the first day of school, so many Atlantans have been beckoned by the same hunk of aluminum and neon that has towered over Ponce de Leon Avenue for nearly 60 years. A fast-moving fire broke out around 1 a.m. This is from WSB TV there. Look at that. That's a big fire. Investigators have not confirmed the cause of the blaze, but said the building is likely, quote, totally destroyed. 2 employees who were working the drive-thru said they were able to make it out safely. So it looks like they weren't involved. They were just working the drive-thru. Good that they made it out. 2 employees working the drive-thru said they were able to make it out safely after seeing wires smoking. Gosh. It's not going to be open anytime soon, said the fire spokesman. I would say it's a total loss. The entire back half is burned. In a city without many long-standing landmarks, that's true. The Krispy Kreme was a mainstay. It opened in 1965. There's some of the damage there from Atlanta Journal-Constitution. Thomas Dunlap says, electrical fire not got. Seems it's pretty scary that it just kind of, like it doesn't sound like it was a cooking accident or something. I don't know, but it seems like, they just noticed it there. Who knows what it was? That big skeptic says, a Krispy Kreme near me caught fire a few years back. Maybe something about donut making is inherently dangerous, beside the obvious scalding hot fry oil, I mean. Manny Moran says, those donuts still look good. And the damage picture. Smooth Brain Inc. says should have a halon system in the kitchen area. John A. and PD says, depending on the commercial building codes for fire suppression system prevention, a sprinkler system could have been required considering the age of the building. Could have not been required considering the age of the building. Ooh, what's this? Oh, here's an update AI6YR posted. One of our viewers messaged about this before. Pittsburgh Airport. At 6:29 p.m., a Delta Airlines flight number 2231 departing for Atlanta from Pittsburgh with 77 individuals on board exited a taxiway prior to takeoff. No injuries have been reported. Buses have been dispatched to the plane. All individuals have been safely deplaned. I wonder how this, maybe it was ice? Ooh, Sonic says, can't sprinkle water onto hot oil, which would make fire worse. Helene Bemis says if they are donuts done in hot oil, that would catch fire and water would spread the fire. Hellnap is wondering if it was a grease fire. Okay, let's see. Another update to something we covered earlier. So there had been reporting that the Dallas Mavericks basketball team was not playing the national anthem this year. Then the NBA announced that every team would play the national anthem before the game. I haven't even seen this article yet. Mark Cuban says Dallas Mavericks didn't cancel the anthem, cites ongoing dialogue with community. In the wake, ESPN, in the wake of the NBA's statement today reiterating its long-standing policy that all teams will play the national anthem, Dallas Mavericks owner Mark Cuban said on ESPN that his organization has no problem playing the anthem at all, and that the decision to not do so at this point in the season was the product of ongoing conversations with members of the community who felt the tradition did not fully represent them. But they said they are going to be playing it now, from now on. Following the NBA's announcement, the Mavericks said they would play the anthem starting Wednesday night, while releasing a statement from Cuban. He said, "We respect and always have respected the passion people have for the anthem in our country, but we also loudly hear the voices of those who feel that the anthem does not represent them. We feel that their voices need to be represented and heard because they have not been." So that's going to be played there now. Martin says nobody even noticed until this week they weren't. Well, I'm guessing because fans hadn't been in the game or there weren't many fans, that was probably why no one noticed. But they are playing it again. Linda Belk says, good that they are playing the anthem. I hadn't heard this. Clint Templeton says, Texas Lieutenant Governor was trying to pass a law to make Mavs play the anthem. Want some coffee, says he got told, and that's that. Thank you, Adi Losby, for your kind words. Oh, thank you, Tony Del Monte. Tony Del Monte says, every year at Minnesota State Fair, my mouth guitar trademark is the Hendrix's national anthem a cappella. Thank you, Tony Del Monte. I went to a state fair one time in California. It was fun. But I don't think it's nearly as kind of involved as, say, some of the Midwestern state fairs. I'd like to go to a huge Midwestern state fair at some point. Thank you, Tony. I appreciate that. Thank you. All the Best says, never understood the playing of the anthem at what are basically entertainment events. I think what happened, Hellnap. I think what happened with the anthem story is, I think the publication The Athletic was the first one to figure out they weren't playing it. They had never announced it that they weren't playing it. Yeah, this was the first story that reported it here. Dallas Mavericks ceased playing national anthem before games at Mark Cuban's direction. This was from The Athletic yesterday. Mark Cuban told The Athletic Monday morning that they were not going to play it moving forward. But then but that quickly changed. The California State Fair when I went, I believe, was in Pomona one year. They had lots of fun kinds of food. You know what? I'm sorry. I misspoke. It wasn't the California State Fair. I believe it was the county fair. Is Pomona in LA County? If it was the LA County Fair. Yes, I went to the LA County Fair, not the California State Fair. LA County population, LA is pretty big. LA County population is 10 million people. So it's bigger, probably bigger than some, like what's the Iowa population? Yeah, LA County is 3 times as big as Iowa. So I went to the LA County Fair in Pomona, not the State Fair. I'm sorry. I don't even know if California has a State Fair. I went to the County Fair, which was plenty big. They do have a State Fair in California. That's in Sacramento. Tony says that's for 3 weeks in September. Old Raj says we don't play our anthem at concerts. I think I might have had corn when I went to the fair. St. John says California State Fair is now held in Sacramento, now at Cal Expo. Maybe I'll go again. Jane Lawless says California has a state fair in Sacramento. Okay, let's see what else I wanted to bring up to discuss. I don't know if I ever tried fried Oreos, Stephanie. I'd probably like to try them once and never again. Probably love them, but wouldn't do well if I kept eating them. Oh, this was a really interesting article. I retweeted this yesterday. Thieves nationwide are slithering under cars, swiping catalytic converters. The the metals in catalytic converters have become really valuable. So there's this rash of theft where people are just going under cars and they're cutting out the catalytic converters. The pollution control gadgets are full of precious metals like palladium, and prices are soaring as regulators try to tame emissions. Crooks with hacksaws have noticed. This was crazy. I feel like this is the kind of article, like in the New York Times, they used to have a lot more of. Where it's an article, you're like, every day if I read the New York Times, I'd be like, oh, that's really cool. That's like a really interesting thing I didn't know anything about. I don't see as many of these type of articles these days in the New York Times. But this was a good one. They talk about an economics professor who put his Prius in his driveway, and then he started it up the next morning. It sounded like a jackhammer because they had stolen his catalytic converter. Then his sister, he lives in San Jose. His sister in LA got her catalytic converter stolen. Stricter car emissions rules around the world have sent demand for the precious metals in catalytic converters surging. That has pushed up the asking price for some of the precious metals used in the device, like palladium and rhodium, to record highs. The price of palladium has about quintupled, for example. The metals prices, in turn, are fueling a black market in stolen catalytic converters, which can be sawed off from the belly of a car in minutes and fetch several $100s at the scrapyard. And then it costs you thousands of dollars to replace it. This police sergeant said, all of a sudden, you can have a $1,000 repair bill. I think it's about $2,000. Yeah, look, if you have your catalytic converter stolen, it can set you back $2,000 in repairs. And the amount of people stealing these things is way up. Converter thefts in Wichita almost tripled in 2020. In St. Louis, catalytic converter thefts jumped more than eightfold in 2020. So that's something to be aware of. Catalytic converters. Minutes can be sawed off in minutes. Will Glow says this is happening a lot where I live. Lizzie says the neighborhood watch groups in my town are constantly talking about someone stealing catalytic converters. It sucks. It's like a huge expense. Linda says, I just read about that. Great, another thing to worry about. And now people will hear about it more, so they'll do it more, I bet. Richie Cuna says converters are the easiest to jack. All you need is a jack lift and some bull nips. Cryptician said, I had that happen to me when I lived in California. They sell them at junkyards, I guess, it said. There was, in this article, they talked about some places have regulations about that places who buy them have to take video of a person who sells it to them. See, look, it says, some states have started to require scrap yards and other recyclers to check photo IDs before buying used catalytic converters. California even requires businesses to take a photograph or video clip of the seller and retain those records for 2 years. But different rules between states makes tracking and enforcement almost impossible, law enforcement officials say. Online ads abound of scrap yards willing to pay quick cash for catalytic converters. It sucks. Kimberly Barr says, I'm a retired insurance adjuster, handled these claims for years. $800 to $2,000 to replace depending on the car, including labor. But it's gone way up. It's gone way up. Not Cupcake says, listen to Scanners, you will hear it every night. All you need is a cordless saw and a flashlight. Oh, Mark, I think you're right. Mark, I think that just happened to the stream, Mark. Mark, I actually checked about 15 minutes ago and it wasn't hidden, and now it is. Well, I think we're going to wrap it up soon anyway. Yeah, so YouTube did that thing again where after 2 hours of the stream, for no reason at all, their whole system is messed up. They have an automated system on YouTube that's supposed to flag live streams and flag videos that might be violating their rules, but it's utterly broken. All the time it flags live streams that are in no way violating the rules. Every time it flags one of my streams, it always gets unhidden. But once that happens, it gets hidden from search and hidden from subscriptions feeds. And the system's utterly broken, and they'll never fix it. It's been like that the whole pandemic, and it's just awful. And I've talked to them a million times about it, and they won't do anything about it. So it's just ridiculous. So if it's earlier in the stream, I'll just restart the stream. But at this point, I was probably going to wrap it up soon anyway, so I won't bother. Thank you, Mark. I checked it a little while ago, and it wasn't hidden, and then it happens again. But they'll never fix it. It's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So thank you for letting me know, Mark. But I was getting close to the end of the stream anyway, so I'll probably wrap it up soon. Yeah, they have a defective Nightbot, exactly, at YouTube, and they just will not fix it. It's been broken for a year now. It's unbelievable. Brian Davis says the Toyota dealer here in St. Louis is 2 months behind on replacing catalytic converters. Yeah, it's unbelievable. No, hayseer joke. It has nothing to do with the converters. It's like every stream I do on this channel, it happens. Pretty much every stream on this channel, if I do the stream long enough, it happens. It's unbelievable. Anyways. But I was going to wrap it up soon anyways. So we'll look. I think this might be a good time to wrap up this live stream. But I appreciate you joining for the live news roundup, where we've been covering some different stories here. We do this once a while on this channel, on Agenda Free TV. Well, if you're watching on YouTube, it's Agenda Free TV 2. If you're watching on YouTube. But if you're watching on YouTube, I also have Agenda Free TV. See, Agenda Free TV. And I have my personal channel on only on YouTube. That's Lookner. What? If there's big news later tonight, we'll do an Agenda Free TV stream. Hey, I really appreciate you watching. Thank you so much for watching. And also, thanks for letting me read your comments on the air. Really appreciate that. And also, a big thanks for the donations. That's very kind of you. Thank you so much, April Coco. Thank you, April. That's very nice of you. And everybody else who donated. Much appreciated. That's very nice of you guys. And thank you. Oh, I missed the Facebook stars. Oh, I'm so bad. Linda Cosma and Bonnie Jean gave Facebook stars. I forgot to thank the Facebook stars. Thank you, Linda Cosma and Bonnie Jean. Thank you. Hey, big thanks to the moderators. Thank you, moderators. Mark Helton, Sarah Joy, Lizzie, Sarah 55, Ruby Roo, Linda Belk, Lisa Cushman, Roxanne Betke, Bud Green, Krista Borden, LQ Lovely, Racing Neophyte, Tariag. Thanks so much, moderators. What did I do here? I messed something up. All right. I will post news updates on my Twitter, which is @Lookner. Follow me on Twitter @Lookner for news updates. And also, what was I going to say? What was I going to say? For notifications, the best way to get notified when I'm coming on the air on one of my channels is to subscribe to the Discord notifications. We have special notifications set up on Discord. It's free, but you can. The link to sign up for the notifications is at the bottom of the YouTube video description, and our mods can post that link as well. Also, if anybody out there is interested in being a volunteer moderator, that'd be awesome. Just let the mods know, and they can give you more information on that. All right. Hey, thanks to our viewers. Two Purple Shoes. Helenap. They were watching in Periscope. Nola Wee Hill. Zippity Don't. Ol Raj. Thanks to all of them. Thanks to our Facebook viewers, too. Brian Davis, Gerald Jones, John O'Brien, Andy Thomas, Lil Bit Nollins, Helene Bemis. Thank you for watching there. And Twitch, and our other Facebook viewers, Ellie Bourne, Shaggy, Sir Chexalot, Farabute, Long Meat Mate, Shea Butter, Trillion Cold Filtered, Faux Chief, Bossa Supernova, and all of our Periscope, our Twitch viewers, thank you. Oh, thank you, Tony Del Monte. Tony says, weather business update. It will be links and other stuff on my Twitter and Facebook accounts only. Hey, Tony, let me know when it's live. I will check it out, Tony. Thank you. Tony, thanks for your support. Much appreciated. Tony Del Monte from Minnesota. Thank you. I'm guessing it's pretty cold in Minnesota. It was 86 here today in Orlando. I can't complain. -4 in Minneapolis. Hey, thank you also for our YouTube viewers. Connie Fernandez, Purple People Eater. Michelle Ryan, Ann M. Joyce. Mira Aravi, Jark FJ3. Elizabeth G. Terry Kuntz. Thank you, Terry. Glad you're liking the coverage. Helene Bemis, Kimberly Barr. C. Michelle Sparks, Dory W. No, Dory, the girl hurt in the accident, we gave an update before. As of yesterday, she was still not awake, unfortunately. That's the latest I've heard. I hope she wakes up. Cryptician, Martin. Want some coffee, Sam Patton. See Michelle Sparks. Diana says, my 9-year-old granddaughter has a YouTube channel and was just complaining because YouTube took down one of her videos. Brad, thanks for watching. Darren Markley. Fish. LT. Oh, and thank you, Lovely Heaven from the Philippines. Lovely Heaven, thank you. Much appreciated. Hope everything is good in the Philippines. RV Cruz, thanks for watching. Paula Faust. Terry, John A., and PD. Linda says it was in the 30s in Odessa. Not good. Tariag, the Discord link isn't working for you with the for the Discord updates. I'll post the link myself for the Discord notifications. Tariag, maybe you have an old link. Yes. Tariag, here's the link. I just posted it. Thank you, Joyce, who says it's cold in Maine. And Lithrone, thanks for watching. June 0130. Crazy Auto. Ron Anderson. All right, guys. I am wrapping up this live scene. Mercy K, thanks for watching as well. Thank you so much for joining me for the news roundup. We will do it again soon. All right, guys, that is it for now. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon with more live news coverage here on Agenda Free TV 2 and Agenda Free TV, and we'll see you on my personal channel as well, Lookner. Have a good day, good night, wherever you are, and we'll see you soon.